So heading into November 2013, the console war is obviously raging, but I think this is the battle that most gamers are sort of more interested in, is the Call of Duty Ghosts going head-to-head with Battlefield 4 in time for Christmas. It's a battle like we've never seen before this year. Next gen, current gen, just it's crazy. They're both looking fantastic, but first up is Call of Duty Ghosts. Looking pretty cool.
It's looking fantastic. And nothing short of what we would expect from Infinity Ward. Coming back to Call of Duty every other year, and they always manage to up the ante and give us something really extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, this one, obviously, they've got to make some additions somewhere, and they're getting so close to just perfecting the COD formula now. But, we've got 30 new weapons. They're sort of redefining the perks and kill streaks. I think they've got like 20 new kill streaks, which is pretty great. 14 maps straight out of the box, and they're still giving you like 20,000 customization options, which is mental to me. I think the most interesting thing, though, is the destruction that they're trying to put into the maps. And
right, so pinching a little bit of Battlefield's territory there.
I think so. And, from our early hands-on, it sort of maybe feels like it's a bit shoehorned in. It's not as organic as Battlefield's tends to be. But I'm still interested to see it there because it changes the dynamic of the maps. If you're behind cover and that cover's slowly getting sort of whittled down by gunfire, you have to keep moving. And COD can be such a game about just sitting in one place and just popping shots before people can get their sights on you. So this could change the game completely. I hope it does, because I'm a bit fatigued by it now. It's
all feeling a bit familiar.
It's a bit familiar, We've had a lot of these Modern Warfare games now since Infinity Ward, redefined the shooter space in 2007, and I think it's time for a little bit of a change. I'm not sure whether this is it completely.
Yeah,
but
I think with a new console, everyone's kind of starting from zero again.
Yep.
The real sort of telling point of any FPS is who's playing, how many people, are you going to get matches good and quick, and then it's the maps. Are they balanced?
Yeah,
they give you some really great moments. Infinity Ward always delivers on that count.
Yes.
There might be the odd map that doesn't quite work, but for the most part, it delivers. Launch, brand new console. It's hard to say, but we know we should expect a certain level of quality. Maybe that's where we're less sure on Battlefield, but
yeah,
from Ghosts, we expect a base level that should be very, very good.
I think from the sort of improvements Microsoft are doing to the general Xbox Live service, increasing the friends list up to 1,000 from 100, putting in clan support and the smart match multiplayer, which lets you and your friends sort of join in multiplayer while you're doing other things. I could be chatting on Skype, you could be watching TV.
Yeah.
We all just join up, go straight into a game. That is perfect for COD.
Yeah.
That feels like it's engineered for COD.
Plus the reputation system, which that's going to take some time to kind of really iron out, because everyone's kind of starting more or less from scratch again on that as well.
Yep.
But as that improves, as the reputations are sort of established, you should find a lot less sort of examples of having to play against players that are just really annoying, saying bad things you don't really want to hear in a game. Or maybe you do want to hear them, and then you will be playing them all the time because you'll be amongst them.
Yeah. I'll tell you what interests me is obviously Xbox One has the ability to share clips. You can just capture and record. I'm interested to know whether that's going to include voice support, because if it does, that's sort of
naming and shaming a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And COD can, like, no multiplayer sort of lobbies are a great place to be, but COD in particular has a real tendency to get very sort of nasty, way quick, like way.
And it would be great to see some of those fantastic kills again. I think everyone probably has seen the Tomahawk kill.
Yep.
Right across the map. It was fantastic, and be able to record your videos now on Xbox One is going to be really cool. But Battlefield 4.
Yes, I think as great as some of the kills you can do in COD are, like Battlefield is like purpose built for just to create stories, and like it's just one of those things like, oh, I just flew a helicopter and like I parachuted down and killed like 4 dudes and captured this point and we won. It's like, yes, now you're gonna be able to show me because I don't believe you. Stop flying.
Plus, it's perfectly placed for all these new systems that are coming with Xbox One, and the classic matchmaking that's kind of made the Xbox such a fantastic shooter console. Squad based, bringing all your friends in. Everyone's got their class. They've all got their tasks to perform.
Yes.
And Battlefield is all about that.
Now, here we're looking at some Xbox One footage. It looks fantastic. I know a few people were a little bit disappointed by the beta, the Xbox 360 beta that's running at the minute. It looks okay. It looks a bit bland, and that could be because it's in beta. But then you look at this map and just look at those sort of weather effects. So the things that, like, those trees look so super real. Like, I just want to climb one. No, it looks great, and it plays fantastically as well. the Xbox One controller feels just perfect for shooters, and I think Battlefield is going to be the one that catches everyone's attention this Christmas, you know?
Absolutely. And I guess the other thing that we get from Battlefield that also takes great advantage of the Xbox One controller is vehicles.
Yes.
Always a big part of Battlefield. So you've got the shooter experience, you've got the vehicle experience as well, and that's going to be fantastic.
I think they're putting more emphasis, and you see it in particular on this map, more emphasis on sea for this time around. So, you know, helicopters and your jets are still going to be in it. But this time you're sort of going to be able to get 4 or 5 people into boats, and you're actually going to have to get around the map because it's so huge. And I like that. You know, sea combat isn't something that we get very often because it's not very good usually. And this
It's
looks
going to be,
cool,
but possibly going to be a big part of the generation with Assassin's Creed taking to the sea as well.
yeah,
In a
totally.
big way.
The only problem with sea combat is really good snipers have a tendency to just like cap the driver and then like just leave everyone stranded out in the middle of these waves, and you just have to sort of swim slowly. It's
So it's something to take account of when you're playing, I think.
yeah, totally. I think one thing that we have seen from the sort of beta, which I didn't really notice when I had my first hands on, but the more I play, it's become sort of realized, is the suppression mechanic, which was so good for like new players. Like you can play as a support class, get your big MG, sit down, lay suppression fire down on enemies when they're sort of running through the chokeholds. You know, and it sort of not only put them under pressure and into cover, but it would also sort of reduce accuracy for the other players, and you get like points for suppressing them. And it's still there, you still get the points, so it still ticks over. But it doesn't seem to reduce the accuracy, and it doesn't seem to have any real gameplay effect anymore. And I sort of feel like maybe it's Battlefield saying, look, we know COD's a bit easier to get into, it's not as, you know, tactical, it's not as squad-based. So we're making an allowance here, like, we just want you playing it, we just want you experimenting with our systems and weapons. And I'm disappointed by that, because I love how hardcore Battlefield's always been.
Sure. I guess an example, in much the same way as Destruction being added to Call of Duty, the Battlefield is also moving a little bit towards them and trying to sort of learn some of seeing if they can learn some lessons from what makes those games quite so popular.
Yeah, I think none of that really. I guess like with Battlefield, like you're like, oh, this sucks, I want this, and then suddenly you play like the Shanghai map, and then you're just in a huge skyscraper, like flying a helicopter around a skyscraper, and the skyscraper just starts like collapsing, like falls on the helicopter, like kills all 4 of us. I was like, man, that is wicked. That's so cool. And it's only Battlefield that's going to give that huge bombastic experience this year. Like, you know, none of the sort of first party games are delivering that, in my opinion.
And possibly the loss of suppression is perhaps disappointing, but as you say, much bigger maps, much wider areas to explore, new vehicles to experiment with.
Yes.
Perhaps suppression isn't going to be as important just generally to the moment-to-moment gameplay as it was in previous games. Maybe that's part of the decision. We'll find out when we finally get to extended playtime with it. We really get to test every little nuance of the multiplayer.
If just wrapping up, in your opinion, what do you think will sell the biggest, the better?
It's such a tough question. I think Call of Duty, just for its reputation, it's one of the big franchises. It's the big blockbuster franchise. Battlefield is trying to sort of take some of that ground. It's the hardcore favorite. It's the thinking man's shooter.